Yo, what's up, YouTube? We back with another review. Today we gonna be reviewing Frieren A Journeys End, episode 7. Let's get it. And so as we jump into the episode, it's a flashback of Frieren and the rest of her comrades. They stumbled up on a grimoire, and it's of the legendary mage, Flam. After analyzing the grimoire, they find out that it's fake. Frieren then says it's a fake, but it's the best one yet. Her comrades say after finding so many fake grimoires, one would think the real one doesn't exist. And not only that, one would question if Flame, the legendary mage, is even real. Frieren says, people don't even believe in Flame anymore. I'm probably the only one who remembers her after all this time. After this flashback, she would wake up. Fern would be surprised. She would tell Stark, hey, let's celebrate her waking up for a change. Stark would be like, man, what? After the funny scene, we get to them continuing their journey. And on their way, they would be tasked with clearing a landslide for a local guy. And as they're clearing it away, Stark seems to think selfishly that, why is Frieren using her magic to clear the whole way? He asks Frieren, why don't you just pick up the man in the carriage and lift them over the landslide? She would then say, that would be selfish. What if the people come behind him? What would they do if they run into the landslide themselves? After talking, we move to the next scene. Stark would ask the man the lore about the landslide and why it happened. The man would explain that the northern lands are having conflicts with demons, and this is just the after effects of it. Stark says these are the scars of war. Fern would spot him and says, hey, Mr. Stark, could you please help me over here? Stark says, hey, bro, we're the same age. Could you please quit calling me Mr. Stark? They would have a back and forth and troll each other. And soon after the job would be complete, the landslide would be cleared. The man would be thankful for them and say, hey, how about I guide you to the northern land, to the city? They would agree, and upon them walking, the man would say, man, I've never seen an elf before. Frieren would respond and say, yeah, we're rare. She would again give the whole lore of elves. She'd say, we lack any personal romantic feelings towards people. We don't reproduce, and we live a long time. And the bombshell, she says, is that we're actually going extinct. As she says that, suddenly the anime hints at her having a tragic backstory. It's a mystery. Soon afterwards, they would get to the city. The local would tell them that they're having a party. It's actually a celebration of him or the hero and his comrades defeating the demon that reigned over this region. Frieren says to herself, yeah, we did do that. She then says, man, humans are so dramatic. They'll find a reason to celebrate anything. The local man says, well, for humans, 80 years is a long time. He explains that over these years, people could forget what happened. But if we keep our traditions up, nobody will ever forget the heroes and what they did. In that moment, Frieren has a flashback of him and the hero making a statue of himself. But lastly, he's so conceited, he made about 5 different statues and he finally chooses one. Frieren says, man, you always making statues. He jokes and says, I don't want anybody to forget my pretty face. Then he suddenly says, nah, but the number one reason is we don't live as long as you do, Frieren. I want you to know that I'm here with you whenever I leave. After the flashback, we return to the present day. And funny enough, the village is celebrating him and the hero and the rest of his comrades' statues. Frieren would then ask the old man, how long do you think they will remember these statues? He says, I'm pretty sure they'll remember, but I don't know for how long. At this point, I believe Frieren is thinking about the history and them not becoming something that people forget in the past. In the morning, Frieren and the rest of her comrades would leave the town. And as they continue their journey to the northern lands, they would end up in a village. And what's crazy, as they're walking, Frieren would sense a demon, and as she looks to attack it, a night guard in this village grabs her and apprehends her. And as we continue, we would find out that this guy has some type of rank. He's a peace emissary. Fern is shooken. This news shocks her. And as the captured Frieren lays on the ground, this man would approach her. He would tell her, even the people in the city, we know they hate us, but they wouldn't approach us because they're scared of us. He says, but you look at me just like a savage beast. She clapped back and say, yeah, that's because you are. There's no point of speaking to someone like you. Soon afterwards, he would send her to the dungeon. Later that night, Fern and Stark would visit her. They would tell her that the people want her to repent for 2 to 3 years. She would blow it off and say, shorter than I expect. Fern would say, you take time too lightly. After yapping, Frieren would say, so what's up with that demon being a peace embassy? Fern would give her the tea on it. She would say, or one of the sages that works under the demon king has regained her power after 28 years. Fern also explains to Frieren that This town that they're in was going through conflict facing Aura. And after conflicts, Aura would come to a truce and they would let this demon in, this peace emissary. Frieren said, this is a bad move. You can't talk and reason with demons. After this thought, the anime would suddenly go into a flashback. It's of Frieren and Himmel. They come face to face with a demon. This demon has eaten a person's child. Himmel looks defeated, but the demon looks like a little girl. He feels sorry for it. Suddenly, the villagers will have a change of heart and they will say, hey, let's give it a second chance. And so they give it a second chance to live a regular life. And it looks good. Everything looks fine. But it wouldn't last because a demon is a demon. And the monster would kill the whole family, leaving only the daughter. Soon after, Himmel would come face to face with it again. And after some unrational reasoning with the demon, him and Frieren would eventually exorcise it. Soon the scene goes back to Frieren being in jail talking to Stark and Fern. She would give them the lore on how these monsters arrive. She says they arrive from a monster hiding in the dark. She says this monster used human speech to deceive these people and then kill them. This hence why she says you can't talk with demons. As we continue, we go to the next scene. It's of the demon, the peace emissary. He starts to think to himself. He think he knows Frieren. He would then go along and say, because she's right, I am a savage beast. And there's only one reason why demons would talk to a human is to deceive. Suddenly the anime goes back to Frieren. And as she's in jail, she will repeat the same thing that he said. All demons are beasts. And as Frieren looks to escape, we fall to the next scene. The next scene highlights the demon peace emissary meeting with another high-ranking official from the village. His name is Earl Grant. And after they have a small confrontation about the man's younger son dying in a war with Aura, the demon would calm things down by using his words. He would deceive the man and say, hey, my father was killed by one of y'all's too. Let's just come to peace. After the meeting, the peace emissary would tell his subordinate that he's just using this man and that his ultimate plan is to let him lift the barriers to this village so Aura and her army could destroy this village. And as this demon's talking to his subordinate, he realizes one of his other subordinates has left. And as we end the anime, we find out that he's in a jail cell with Frieren. He tells her he's going to execute her. She responds and says, I'm stronger than your boss. And with that Aura, the anime ends.